Hello, welcome back, and thank you, as always, for tuning in here and for your dedication and commitment to your spiritual practice. Oh, yes. All right. The highest and best offering you could ever make anyone anywhere. Nothing comes close to that. So I thank you for that. You are dedicated and committed to this, or you would simply not be watching this, because, of course, there's plenty of other content out there, to say the least. So, welcome, and we're going to discuss today what's real, what is not, the real world, the so-called real world, and we'll talk about what that actually is. And we'll talk about the cost of sleeping and refusing to pay it. All of that wrapped up into one. So, where do we start? Well, the real world is a term that is used here in A Course in Miracles. And if you are an experienced student of this course, you will know, if you've watched some of these videos, that I often repeat what Jesus just comes right out and says here in the Course: there is no world. Ooh, wow. So what would the real world even be? And why talk about that? Well, let's get into that and what that actually symbolizes, what that stands for. So, as a basic premise here, we don't see things as they are. We simply perceive them incorrectly. This is the very same thought, whether you have it in those exact words or in that form or not, that leads us to spirituality in the first place. It's this thought that there's something more to it than this device right here and its needs. There's something more to it than our careers and jobs and our bank account and money and email and all of the stuff that we occupy our time with and obsess over. There's more to it than that. Yes. Yes, there most certainly is. And we're fond of saying, sometimes to other people, sometimes to ourselves, that there's just got to be more to it than this. Things are not as they seem. That's so true. Things are not as they seem. So start with this premise that you're not a body. This isn't you. The other 8 billion people that appear to be separate people in this world are not, in fact, separate. Now, deep down, we know this. We can choose to run and hide and deny it. And plenty of people do. You likely know many people personally that think you're nuts for even being interested in this course or spirituality in general. Plenty of people think this is completely bogus or, or worse. We all know people like that, yet here you are. So, what is really important is what's really going on here is that you've heard the call of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, to awaken, and you're on the path. Welcome. We don't see things as they are. This course, which we undertake under the guidance of our inner teacher, aims to correct our perception, to turn our perception right side up. It is most definitely upside down. To clarify our perception so that we see things as they are. This clarified or true perception is known as the real world. The only thing in this world which of itself is illusion, The only thing that can even be said to be real here are our loving thoughts. So the real world is the world looked upon with love and only love. It's totally clarified perception. Now, from there, truth dawns of itself. So, true perception, seeing this so called real world with what we refer to as the vision of Christ, seeing only love in this world, is still the realm of perception. From there, awakening happens of itself. Truth dawns of itself, but first we must learn to perceive truly. In other words, in order to wake up, we need to see things as they are. That is the prerequisite. From there, it's said in many places here in A Course in Miracles that God takes the final step himself. That's awakening, that's enlightenment, it's final realization, it's realizing God, it's going home, it's whatever you wish to call it in words. This is beyond all concepts. It is truth. It's the experience of truth itself. It's awakening. But in order to awaken fully and totally, we must learn to see things as they are completely. Enter this course. And here we are appearing in this form. I mean, more or less. All of these appear to look differently. Part of the dream, in fact, because there is no separation of any kind. An idea that if you've not heard here, you'll hear again and again and again. It's one of these ideas that as adult learners, we need to hear over and over again because we resist it. Perhaps you find yourself resisting the idea right now, and perfectly fine. Welcome to the path, because we all have those moments, don't we? So here, while we appear to be this, we're invested often quite heavily in the values of this world. We've placed our faith and trust in the physical body. We've placed our faith and trust in our jobs, in our career situations, which are highly fluid, even if it appears stable, even if you've been in the same profession or line of work or even job for decades. Does that last forever? Certainly not, right? We have invested pretty much our entire being, our entire mind in the values of this world. And we're invited to give that some thought, some serious consideration. What does it in fact profit you? Well, here in the world, on the world's terms, you might be rich. You might be. You might be in a loving relationship with someone. You may have a beautiful home. You may have social status and prestige. You may consider yourself tremendously blessed. None of this lasts. Of course, it doesn't, because the world itself doesn't last. It's nothing. It's illusion. What is not illusion? God, love. God is. There is only perfect oneness. An idea that you may find very helpful here as you study and practice A Course in Miracles is that ideas leave not their source. Feel welcome to capitalize the S. Ideas leave not the mind of God. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Who and what are you? You are known here in A Course in Miracles as the thought of God, an idea. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Yes, that. What else? We don't often, as we race through our daily lives, allow ourselves to contemplate this, which makes this time that you're investing in your spiritual practice so valuable. There are many reasons why this is the most outstanding, the greatest gift that you could give anyone, anywhere, anytime. When we invest in the values of this world, when we think this is us, we're in fact denying our own reality. The cost of that is enormous. And you don't need a talking head on your screen to tell you that. We know that the cost of denying our reality is enormous. This thing craps out and what we call dies, for starters. This is highly impermanent. We don't like to think about that sometimes, but I mean, really, it changes from 1 minute to the next. It sheds its cells constantly, and we don't look the same today as we did in 2003. That's just one example because it's impermanent. God, on the other hand, is changeless. So when we invest in the illusion, in the impermanent, we necessarily suffer because impermanent means impermanent. This stuff ends. God, on the other hand, is eternal. God does not end. You are eternal. You do not end. We've simply invested in the wrong thing. We've invested wrongly, and we're invited to withdraw our investment from the world and place it on who we really are. How do we do this? Well, we do so under the guidance of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, who will direct us. But this is a choice. It's a choice that we all make. You make this choice. When? Right now, in the present moment. When else? But right now. And if you choose not to make that choice in the present moment, you'll have the next moment in order to make that choice and choose again. And if you decide not to, then you'll have the next moment to do it again, and so on, and so forth. We can't lose who we are. We can't lose the truth of our own identity, capital I. We can't lose reality. But we can throw away our awareness of it. We can certainly do that. We have, or we wouldn't appear to be here. We can run, we can hide, we can cower in a dark corner, or whatever visual analogy you choose to use, whatever pops to mind for you. We can deny this all we want. We have, or we wouldn't appear to be here. We would not be having this conversation had we not all done that repeatedly. That's why this course appears here in the world. That's why it's necessary. And there's a reason why you're interested in it. I invite you to explore that and go with it and follow the lead of the Holy Spirit on that. The Holy Spirit's perfectly aware of who and what you are and will lead you and guide you if only you allow him to do it. We allow our inner teacher to run the show and learn to relax and trust his guidance. This sums up spirituality of all traditions, setting the ego aside, learning to relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher. And learn to relax and trust. Something we need and we resist again, or we would not appear to be here. All that is real in this world is what we look upon with love. Only our loving thoughts can even be said to be real. This is why true forgiveness is a thing in A Course in Miracles. That is why it is the foundational, practical centerpiece of this entire course. It's known as our function here in the world. It's extending love. We're invited to extend love, to look beyond the illusion to what's, well, really there. Love, oneness, perfect oneness. There is no separation of any kind, so we forgive everything that we and our brother appears to do. We appear to do all kinds of messed up things, so we forgive them. You have constant cues given to you, gifted to you, if you prefer to think of it that way, and it can be very helpful indeed. Anything that is not wholly joyous is, in fact, an opportunity for forgiveness. Let's talk for a minute about true perception, the vision of Christ. Christ is you, it's me, it's your worst political enemy. It's not simply a term referring to the historical Jesus. The Christ is the Son of God, which encompasses all of us. Christ's eyes are always open. We here in the world have closed ours. We're simply asleep, and the Holy Spirit will help us awaken. What we're invited to do is accept his vision as our own, loving vision, a loving, wholly loving, completely loving vision. Accept this as our own. And as we mentioned a few minutes ago, we're invited to think about and to learn, I mean, really learn the cost of sleeping and refuse to pay it. Learn how painful staying asleep is and refuse to stay asleep. Learn the cost of our continued investment in this world and refuse to pay it. Then and only then will we awaken. There is a very prominent, very strong element of choice involved, which is why I often say spirituality is an adult endeavor. It's about taking responsibility for your entire experience, especially your thoughts. You'll note that A Course in Miracles is a course in mind training. Yeah, it's the mind that needs to be healed. This is where the action is. And we've mentioned many times right here in this conversation that we're not a physical body. So healing applies to the mind. This device, this communication device, may or may not follow that. By forgiving the Son of God, there is not any guarantee. There really is. There's no guarantee that you will cure an illness or a chronic condition if you have one of those. There's no guarantee that that's going to up and disappear in a puff of smoke or a blinding flash or anything like that. The physical body always follows the mind. It may or may not cure itself of a chronic condition. Whether it does or does not is actually not the point. It's not the point. That's why this course does not concern itself with the body at all. It concerns itself with the mind and healing the mind. This is how we learn to see truly with the mind. These, the body's eyes, are actually mirrors. They reflect what appear to be objects back to us, and we see an inverted image of them. That's telling, isn't it? True sight is with the mind. If that seems incredible, think of dreaming when you're asleep. We appear to see. We see all kinds of things when we dream, don't we? We have experiences, we have a conversation with somebody who's not there. Right? We fly, we do all sorts of things that seem very, very real. Yet when we open our eyes, we recognize instantly that that was a dream and that those images are not here now, and they were never really there. They're gone when we awaken. Exactly. Yes, we see with the mind. So let's awaken. Let's refuse to pay the cost of our continued investment in the world and the impermanent. Let's learn the cost of sleeping and refuse to pay it. Only then will we awaken, and the Holy Spirit will lead us home. We learn to perceive truly. We learn to see what this course refers to as the real world, the world forgiven. From there, truth dawns of itself. We awaken. And we realize along the way that we've never left God. Ideas, remember, leave not their source. Capital S. All right, so thank you as always for tuning in. If you're new to this series of videos, it's pretty clear that this is some deep stuff. Well, you deserve nothing less than this. There is a reason why you are drawn to this video, even if the reason is just it popped up as a suggestion on YouTube. Well, who popped that up as a suggestion on YouTube? Who influenced their algorithm? Your inner teacher. That's who. There is a message for each and every one of us. These videos, by the way, are for all experience levels. Experienced students of the course, beginning students of the course, anyone in between, and those who are not students of the course, who are simply checking this out and wonder what this dude is all about. It's for everyone. This course is a self-study curriculum, universal in theme and application. Universal. It applies to all. So again, welcome. If you have not yet subscribed, I'd love to have you do that. This is the prompt here in the corner of your screen. When you click or hover over that arrow, you'll be invited to subscribe and join us. And please do that. We have several videos each week. We're currently going through the text of A Course in Miracles, and it doesn't matter where you are or are not in that, or whether you're doing the course at the moment or not. There will be something said that will benefit you directly. In other words, it will be the message or set of messages that you were meant to hear. Questions along the way are not only inevitable, they're also highly welcome. This is a practice of deep self-inquiry, after all. So if you have questions, please feel welcome to leave them here. We've had a number of excellent discussions right here in the comment thread on YouTube. So again, subscribe, please, if you have not. And I will see you all again very soon. Thank you, as always, for joining me.